market. How do I still work with all the other products? Well, there's a couple of things I want you to remember today. Number one, you are not going to have to take hardly any notes. I would have a pen and paper close by, but it is recorded, so you'll be okay, I think. But there are sometimes in these presentations, because I speak agent very well, is that there are write down moments. You cannot put everything down in a presentation. But it wasn't last year at Ms. Medicare, but the year before, everybody was walking up and saying, hey, can you put your presentation in writing? And I kept literally saying, no, because I want agents to memorize it. I want agents to not sound canned. I want agents to know their talking points. Well, what I learned real quickly is that when I'm not with you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, you do need it written out. So this is a new presentation. It shows not what is only in it for the client, but what's in it for you as well. And I think one of the most important things I can tell you today is that I have been doing this presentation almost my entire career. It's the reason I'm the success I am, I believe, because I don't believe in being a salesperson. I do believe in selling something, and that's really important for all of you to know on the call. One of the things Amanda and I struggle talking is that we've got so many baby agents. We've got some experienced agents that are stuck in a groove, but we've got some baby agents that think they're supposed to write a gazillion apps a week. And what we're trying to do together is show you systems. And one of the most important things about my system is understanding the education behind it. Number one, I never get worried about what the federal government's doing. I want y'all to hear that again. There's a lot of talk going on. We will work out one way or another. Yes, we have to be prepared. Yes, we have to know our business. Yes, we have to be smart. But diversification is always the answer. It's been the answer in my 38-year career. I have pivoted from underage to meds up to underage. Bundling has always been part of it. But what you've got to remember is when commissions get cut, you have to just figure out how to get more clients. So I want everybody to focus in on today, how do I get more clients? Don't worry about how do I make more commission. Don't worry about I'm not being paid enough, but worry about how to get more clients. That is the most important thing behind this presentation. Now, most of you that are new to me, you're seeing that, well, Gaylan hasn't even skipped a slide. I am not a carrier. I do not read PowerPoints. You guys are running businesses. I don't care if you're a career agent or you're an independent. You are an eat what you kill mentality, which means that you don't make anything if you don't sell something, right? So what we've got to remember is customer service is the most important thing we do. That's why you see my counterpart, which I love her little headshot up there, is you've got to remember that we have to stay compliant at all times. So when I wrote out this selling system, I made sure everything in this selling system is compliant. We have thank you letters. We have declination forms. We'll be happy to provide you. A lot of you know I'm an integrity partner, and a lot of you have seen, well, Gaylan only takes care of integrity. No, that's not the case. I do, but I also take care of my friends. And Amanda and I are really good friends. So anything that is mine is y'all's. And y'all have heard me say that for a long time. Now, I will turn a slide so y'all feel like we're actually having a conversation about this PowerPoint. But knowing how to use the material in this PowerPoint in your education process starts with your own conviction about what you do. And if you don't have all of these products on yourself, my first question to you is why? How can you sell something you don't have or you don't believe in enough to put your own family in or yourself? Now, I get the MedSup Med Advantage. Some of you are not 65 yet. And for the record, I'm not either. Amanda, when you put out there, I'm officially old when Brad Pitt turned 60. I turned 60 this year. But at the same time, you know, I don't feel 60. Some of you are over 65 and you have a MedSup or a Med Advantage plan, and you cannot sell yourself what we're going to call an Obamacare alternative plan. Now, there's a couple of things I want you to remember in this presentation. The first thing is this: bundling is not a gimmick just to make the agent wealthier. I know a lot of you, when you go buy cars, you're like, oh, well, that's a gimmick, that's a gimmick, that's a gimmick. All of these plans are highly needed, but understanding how stats work is your first way into education. So this page right here is really more for all of you. You can use it with your clients, but it's really for you. If you see this over here in the dark orange, you see you, the agent, need all of these plans. Get convicted. What you do matters. Now, if you drive in Dallas, like I did this morning over here, then you're going to see that these people drive crazy. But of a stat of 5,000 clients, ages 18 to 89, only 0.06% are using their auto policy. Only 0.04% are using their homeowners policies or renter's insurance. Now, if all of these people had a cancer policy, they would file on it 40% of the time, yet we never bring it up in a presentation. I know some of you do. Don't start emailing me. I know, I got you. 70% of the time, people are going to file on long-term care, short-term recovery care, Omniflex, all of those plans. Dental. It doesn't say dental, vision, and hearing. Dental. Manhattan Life has the best dental, vision, and hearing plan. You get to use 100% of the benefit on legacy, whether it's dental, vision, or hearing. If it's select, you can add riders on. But look at that, you guys. They're filing on that policy 100% of the time. But agents will say it's not worth it for a client to pay $360 a year for a $1,000 benefit. It dang sure is if you don't have a bank account with any money in it and you've got a root canal and you're in pain. It's easier to pay $1 a day than to call your children. So what I've started teaching our agents is how to sell our beneficiaries' children. A lot of times your children of your beneficiaries were like I was. And they might want to buy a MedSup on their parent versus a Med Advantage. It's more predictable for them. They would rather buy a Med Advantage with all these different add-on policies so they know they're not going to have to pull out of their 401k. So it's better to spend $1 a day than pull out of their 401k. And yes, it's true. People still die. 1 out of 100% of the time. We don't bring final expense up because y'all are so caught up in scope of appointment, you forget that there's 365 days a year. There's only that 6 weeks a year you're worried about scope. The other time you're worried about protection of your client. And if you did well with your client, they trusted you once, they will trust you again. And I'm sure Amanda's already coached all of you. If you've got a question, put it in the chat so we don't forget to answer that, because this has got to be interactive for you to be successful at it. Now, I don't care if you're selling frying pans like Zig Ziglar or you're selling insurance. These 3 objections happen each and every time. Listen to me when I say this. I am a coach that cares. So if you're getting your objections at the end of your presentation is bad. It sucks. It's horrible. You should be able to overcome all of your objections throughout your presentation. When you're reading the disclosure forms to your clients, this is how you overcome these objections. The minute your client says they can't afford a $30 cancer plan, how are they going to afford the maximum out of pocket, whether it's $1,000 or CMS 8,900 out of pocket? Somebody is going to have to pay that for them when they go down to get registered for their chemotherapy or radiation. So who is that person that would pay that for you? That's probably the person that you're going to have to talk with, right? What is their phone number? Let me talk to them. I don't expect you to remember this. I have the license. And by the way, who do you have as a spouse in your house? Because sometimes I can get you discounts. Where is their insurance? Who do they have their life insurance with? When you start talking about the spouse in the house, it starts a whole nother conversation. And then it comes down to, okay, if you keep telling me you can't afford this, you've got to talk with someone, and we're not going to talk with them, then who is this burden going to fall on? We don't want to repeat the same mistakes that's gone on in your family. Amanda, who do you know that's had cancer? What happened? What did they have to go through? Because 1 out of 2 men are going to have cancer. 1 out of 3 women, 1 out of 10 children could have leukemia. Now,
Gaylan, quick question, because this actually goes right into, it plays right into this. What if they can't pass underwriting? If they can't buy cancer life, long-term care life insurance final expense for ourselves, if they can't pass underwriting, is this even a consideration?
Right. So think about spouse in the house. And this is a very good question. And this is why I like that you asked that. One of the things that my team did is they would always say, well, they didn't qualify. Okay. So you mean to tell me that your client has had cancer and heart issues? Well, I don't know. I just asked about cancer. Okay, well, we need to understand what they're really going through. We also need to understand that there is final expense that's guaranteed issue out there. Yes, if they die in those first 2 years, they would only get return of premium plus 5%, but that's still better than nothing. And then, by the way, dental, vision, and hearing is guaranteed issue. And every Med Advantage client company I talk to tells me the average out of pocket that a client is out if they get hearing aids is $700 to $1,000. On dental, it's $500 to $700. So there's no reason not to bring it up. Besides, they also have children, they have relatives, they have friends, and all of those people need health insurance. This last AEP, between 3 different agents, I gave over 100 referrals. I don't even sell health insurance right now. I give those leads out. How do I get 100 referrals when I'm not banging the street? Because I'm constantly talking about what clients need. Now let's talk about, for just a minute, my situation, okay? First of all, those of you that have heard me speak at either Medicare Margaritas or Ms. Medicare know the story about my dad. Diagnosed with cancer at age 52, didn't make his 53rd birthday. missed his vesting on his pension by less than 6 weeks to 2 months. We haven't decided what it is, 2-week variance. Mother, instead of getting $1,700 a month, got $170 a month. When my mom could no longer take care of herself, I got a call from a skilled nursing facility that says, you've got to come get your mom. Okay, when? Now, y'all, I've been a Medicare agent for 36 of my 38 years in the industry. Today. Well, where am I going to take her? Social worker already said she can't come home with me. We don't know. You're going to have to find something. I went out to Medicare.gov, found 5 Medicaid pending facilities. Didn't even know what Medicaid pending facility was at the time. 3 of them were eliminated right off the bat, no beds. The 4th one was eliminated. We've got a bed, come on over. Got there, it was gone. The 5th one had beds, but I had to fill out an application, sign my life away for $135 a day. What's great about short-term recovery care and the new OmniFlex with Manhattan is you can sign your loved one up for $135 a day, 365 days, and you have a place to park them, which is like the Ritz-Carltons of assisted living. I've told people, side conversation, I recognize some of y'all on the call, I will give up my Medicare supplement because I know how to negotiate Medicare fee schedule before I give up long-term care, short-term recovery, and Billy Bob's Country Club tickets. Because I know that's what I'm going to have to stay alive. But yet we don't even bring it up. And when I left my mom in that place I wouldn't left my dog at, but had already been told if she fell, it would wreck my marriage because my husband would never be able to explain why she fell. And I said, well, what do you mean? And they said, how many times has your husband taken your mother to the bathroom? Well, never. Well, guess what? She's going to tell him she's got that. She's going to fall with that brittle bone disease and she's going to be paralyzed. How does your husband live with that? But when I left my mother at that place, I walked out on the other side, and that's the first time since I heard my father had cancer that I dropped to my knees and cried like a baby. Because until you go through that, you have no idea how these policies protect our seniors. Our seniors are not taken care of in this country, just like our vets aren't. It's up to you to take care of these clients. You are more important to them than their doctors, because doctors don't work for free. And thank God, because of that, neither do we. They have to have health insurance of some kind. It's up to us to always be the patient advocate. Now you say, well, I don't want to deal with all that. I'm just writing my policyholder. If you protect your policyholder properly, and that's something I've said forever in my head, guess what? You don't have to be their patient advocate because you've already taken such good care of them that when their adult children come in, there's a thank you letter from you that says $30 a month is being spent on this, $30 a month is being spent on that, $30 a month is being spent on this, so that they're not a burden on you. By the way, I would love to help you with your health insurance. Your credibility goes up 90% notches because you're doing something that the Joe Namath agents don't do. You're doing something that a lot of agents don't do. Joe Namath or down the street agents. As a matter of fact, I could poll this audience today and ask how many of you send a thank you letter. How many of you call your clients back and say, let's finish that package of protection? And it's going to be less than 10% of you. But yet you're going to get the call from the client. And you're going to go, oh no, I don't want to talk to them. They're such a pain in my butt. They're a pain in your butt because they don't have any money and they don't know what their insurance does. It's your job to do that for them. And when you do that for them, you're going to be like me. You're going to get referrals out the wazoo. Your lead cost goes way down. Your LTV goes up. Everybody always goes, Gaylan, what's LTV? Quit worrying about cost per acquisition. Start worrying about what you're making, not what you're paying to make it. When you worry about what you pay to make it, the stress is so great that you're going to fail. When you worry about your lifetime values and your return on investment, you become a person of education. All of a sudden, people start referring you. You ought to talk to my agent, Gaylan. You ought to talk to my agent, Amanda. You ought to talk to my agent, Patricia. They made sure I could say no to certain policies. And if I have a problem with my budget, I call their customer service person. And they walk me through what we let go of first. And we always let go of dental, vision, and hearing first because it's guaranteed issue. You let go of cancer and then you get cancer, guess what? You're uninsurable. Now, this affordable choice brochure, all of you that work with Amanda have access to all of the Manhattan Life products. We can one-off train you on this. We changed agents' lives over the last 5 years. Agents being able to send their kids to college. Agents being able to get out of debt. Agents being able to say, hey, in addition to that free ACA, let me show you a plan to take that's any doctor, any hospital with the Aetna network that has a teledoc benefit with no copay, that has a patient advocate so that when you go into a hospital or you go into a chemo clinic, you know what your insurance is going to do for you. Now, this affordable choice is only to age 65, but a lot of you are out there selling short-term medical and selling it as a bridge to Medicare when short-term medical is not guaranteed renewable. It's term renewable from time to time, but if you're in the great state of Louisiana, all you're going to get is 3 renewals, and that is only going to be 18 months. So if you're 61, that covers you to 62 and a half. What are you going to do for 62 and a half to 65? When you sell guaranteed renewable products, you don't have to worry about that. The only time a client loses their health insurance on this program is when they turn 65 or they don't make a payment. One of the things that we did in this new training presentation is lay out our selling program in our office where we average 3.5 to 4 applications per household. We make better time with our efficiencies and we make more money per call. We're not rushing trying to get to the next lead. We're taking care of it. And all the products that I've designed for carriers, I build in persistency protection for you, the agent. So if you look up here under this Elite Plus and you see the 6,000 and you keep it to year 2, that benefit goes to 7,500. When they've kept this for 5 years, their 6,000 goes to 12,000 with no rate increase. This plan has not had a rate increase in over 8 years, and we just rate increased it $2 per month so that we could add on a better teledoc feature. If you also notice, and I'm going to show you how we work this in our selling programs, this plan has a cancer benefit built into it, plus we add on cancer. Like I said, all of these plans are on your commission schedules. Amanda does all the contracting there. She has an incredible team. Y'all have seen how that team has grown over time. One of the best organizations I work with by far. Now, I'd show you this because we sell off these 2 pages. One of the things we've learned in COVID is that our clients have a cell phone, right? You screenshot it. They follow along. Now, what agents tend to forget about is over here in this yellow. One of the things providers do, and they make a horrible mistake at, is they look at the back of a person's insurance card and they go, oh, we don't take your insurance, because they don't recognize the network. This is cash. People don't understand, but hospital indemnity plans have been around since the beginning of time. I had my son on a hospital indemnity plan. They no longer cover maternity because people were abusing them, and we had all these other plans come out in the marketplace. But this plan is still a great plan. And when I show you how to understand it, that is where you're going to go, wow, had no idea. But what you're going to see is our full selling presentation. So if you can hang on to the end, you'll see why this is gold. There were carriers that offered me lots of money for this presentation over the years, just like my presentation. I don't do that with them. I do that with you. You and I are partners. You're not my downline. You're my partner. Amanda's not my downline. Amanda's my partner. TLC's not my downline. They're my partner. All of these things I've learned in my 38-year career, I've experimented with. We have zero complaints because of the way we present in an education method. And any of you that have heard Amanda speak, that's how she speaks. PPO networks were created off of something we all know very well on this phone call, and it's called the Medicare fee schedule. All these carriers get credit for developing this amazing PPO network, and it's nothing more than Medicare fee schedule. If you look over here on surgery benefit, a client has this as getting 3 times the policy fee schedule. That means 3 times the Houston Medicare fee schedule. All right, any doctor, any hospital. So when they assign their ACA, they don't assign these plans. This cash comes directly to them. And at the end of this presentation, there are 2 employees of mine, one Amanda knows very well, that had this package of protection, and he tells you exactly how this worked out for him. So the other thing we're going to talk about is this next page. This page right here is a game changer for agents and clients. First Health Network, all of these are included in the premiums on the page before. There's no additional premium due. First Health Network is Aetna's network. Redo, best prescription drug program on the market, discount-wise. They don't sell your client's information like GoodRx does to GoHealth. So when you put them in this, they stay your client. Green Imaging. I had an agent tell me not too long ago, Gaylan, you know what the difference is between a $250 MRI and a $1,000 one? And I go, no. And I'm waiting for this amazing answer. She goes, $750 that the client gets to keep in their bank account. That's huge. Telehealth. On their ACA plans, even if they have a bronze HSA or a gold, which you can hardly find, those people are still paying $25 and $35 for Teladoc. There's no Teladoc copay on this plan. So our clients that have ACA and this, and I'll show you all why this is a supplement to their ACA in just a minute, is they're making a killing on those telemed copays, right? They don't have to use that one on the ACA. They use this one. Direct Labs. Oh, and by the way, telehealth is a great second opinion for your clients. Direct Labs is all the screenings. Health Advocate is going to tell you the best hospital or provider to go in before you go. And then if you have a balanced bill when you come out, they're going to negotiate that for you. All of these included. All right. Now, next one. These are all street level commissions. Some of you aren't on street level. You have to write more production. But what I always tell career agents, you know what? Don't get caught up in percentages. They don't go in the bank. Dollars do. So if you're with somebody, stay with somebody. Don't go be a broker and become broke. Do what's right for you now. Talk to your management. See how you can be better. But Aetna gave everybody a 25-point bump on the Aetna Cancer 18 months ago. FMOs didn't get it out because they didn't notice it in the newsletter. I've been singing it from the mountaintops. So check with your partners and find out what your comp was increased to. This is, again, street level commissions. Look at what this does. This has no Med Sup, no Med Advantage, no ACA, no renewals. Why do I tell you that? Because agents are being mailed street levels every day through recruiters. You may not be on these commission levels. You may be higher, you may be lower.
I want to reiterate that all of these plans can be sold to anybody. It doesn't have to be only those that are Medicare eligible.
Right. Yes, ma'am. And this affordable choice, the only caveat there is they come off of it when they T65 because they're going to the promised land of insurance. But I'm going to show you guys something, and I want you to hear what I'm saying. A lot of trainers, a lot of influencers, a lot of coaches, a lot of bad guys, they stress too much on commissions. Sometimes 5 percentage points is not that much, y'all, in the scheme of things for what you're getting. So please, when you leave my presentation, don't get caught up on commissions. Get caught up on taking this, filling in your commission, and seeing what you're going to make. But remember what I said. There's no ACA, no Med Advantage, no Med Sup, and no renewals. Not that you're not getting paid renewals, but this is gravy on the biscuit, you guys. Now, some of you are going to go negative Ned and Nelly and go, there's no way I'm going to sell that on every call. Nope, you're not. Not until you start. Some of you may only sell 4 of these. Some of you may sell 6. Some of you may sell just 1. Look at what the difference it does in your income. But if you were to take all these products, no renewals, first year income, 3 of these packages, 50 weeks a year, you would increase your income $500,000. I have agents that are doing this because they've picked up spouse in the house from me over the last 2 to 5 years. The only time you don't get there is when you don't do it. When you don't get there, it's because you don't do it. Now, this is how you get there. Understanding how claims are paid. Amanda asked me earlier today when I was struggling, is this your same presentation? I got it. I go, no, girl, this is the one everybody's been asking me for. You guys are going to get so excited when you start offering these. The trips are incredible. And I'm going to tell you something else. Your client's calling you and saying, Gaylan, I ended up netting about $8,000 off my claim. What do I need to spend that money on? Save it. You may need medication. You may need home health care. Buy more policies from me. Use that money for what it's intended, your health care. But follow along, guys. This is one of our clients in our office. He went into the hospital for 7 days with stomach pains. They never did find out what was wrong with him. He just got better. But what happened is at the end of 7 days, this client only had affordable choice at the time because we didn't have all this product portfolio we just showed you right here. Okay? This was back in 2010. So this client had a bill of $41,660. After he got his PPO discount at the time through PHCS of $18,747.18, his bill came down to $22,913.23. I was the first marketer that asked a carrier to put these claims examples in their brochures. I didn't quick pitch. I didn't hide from it. I wanted clients to know how these plans paid. So I educated them. So at the time, we didn't have Elite Plus. So this client in 7 days got a hospital admission of $2,000, $4,000 at 7 days of $28,000. So he got paid a check of $30,000. He owed the hospital $22,913.23. He put a little over $7,100 in his bank for just his money to do what he wanted with it. Anything. They can do anything they want with that money. Now, this is what I've been doing for the last 34 years, and I never put it in writing. So this is the gold right here. This is what you're going to call Wikipedia. At the time I did this, I was a young 59-year-old, and I used $180,000 because that's usually an amount of money that determines if a client is high net worth or if we're going to go into a subsidy situation, okay? Now, it changes every year, and during COVID, 80,000 became our number, okay? But it's getting ready to go back up because of all these Medicaid cuts. So everything we're going to talk about on the next 2 slides, and the reason I'm gearing this up is because you're not going to believe it, how easy it is to do. It took me a long time to put this together because while it's easy for me to talk about, it was hard to put it in a form where agents could use it and sell off of it and do it the correct way, okay? So I will tell you this took a lot of time. And Amanda, who puts on events and selling credentials, knows what something like this takes. But this is the same claim that we talked about. This is a reminder for you. This over here is the ACA with no subsidy. This is the Affordable Choice Package of Protection. I'm going to show you how we work that on the next pages. Now, you'll notice that this changed from this because now we have an out-of-pocket protection plan that is very little money, and we added it on in this scenario. Now, I'm going to come over here and tell you some things that you've got to remember. So on the next page, you're going to see this number in a block by itself. You're going to see this affordable choice in a block by itself. And then you're going to see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 plans times 12 in a block by themselves. And y'all are going to go negative Nelly and say, oh my gosh, there's no way that can happen. Oh yeah, and you'll see it in the net worksheet. But I want to stop here a minute so y'all can be reminded that everything on this page right here goes back to this. It goes back to this page, okay? So every one of these plans are going to be talked about in the selling presentation. So here goes. This is the gold. Now, you'll notice when you get these from Amanda that there's no formulas in here because agents always have a way of messing that up. And when I say agents, AKA Gaylan, my team will tell you they don't like to give me formulas. But if you are that person that doesn't make a mistake and you check your work, then you can create this in a formula type situation. But we just did this with a group out of Michigan, and those guys have taken off. Like, they called me Monday, that was yesterday, right? And said they had already sold 3 of these packages, and we just trained them last week. So that's a big deal because look at this. This is the ACA. This is a no subsidy high net worth client. This client right here, their premium times 12 months is $14,494.80. The reason I'm going slow here, you guys, is because y'all are going to have people that are going to stop you when you get here because you're small business owners, farmers, and ranchers are smart people. For those of you that don't know this about me, Manhattan Life and I sued the federal government to keep these plans in the marketplace, okay? And we did that because what they were telling people is that you had to literally have an ACA plan to buy one of these. Well, that'd be like telling some of you can't buy a Chevy Malibu unless you got a Range Rover. Well, that doesn't make sense, right? Unless you just love Malibus. Well, we had to create something that made clients understand what we were talking about. So this is the spreadsheet that we use, and we screenshot it and we send it to clients. And we do this because clients buy health insurance anticipation of claims. They think they're going to have a claim. That's why they buy health insurance. So we have to show these at 12 months because the government plans, other than MedSup, are only 12-month renewable plans. MedAdvantage, 12-month guaranteed renewable. Now, they choose to renew some, just like some choose to renew ACA, but they don't have to. So that's why we show this on 12 months. That's why you see 12 months written all throughout here. Now, on that 59-year-old, her premium for an SEP, special enrollment period, was an HSA bronze, which means she gets a tax deduction for this $9,100 she's putting back. $14,494.80 is her premium. So if she were to have a claim, and we're going to use the same claim we've been talking about, she would spend in premium plus her out-of-pocket on the claim $23,594.80. Now, ACA plans don't pay money to clients. They pay providers and hospitals. That's why some of your providers and hospitals say, oh, you can't have a cash discount because you've got insurance. No, when they have cash indemnity, they get a cash rate. Cash indemnity is cash, and you can read it in the policy language. Now, we're going to talk this claim right here. So we're going to show our client, if you have this $41,000 claim, discounted $18,747, the total claim is now $22,913.23. You, John, are going to write the hospital a check for $9,100. We showed that over here. The Blues, Anthem, UHC, whoever your ACA plan is going to write the hospital a check for $13,813.23. Now, some of you have already caught on to where I said your clients are going to go, hold on. And it boils down to this number right here and this number right here. A lot of your self-employed people are saying, why am I paying for this when they didn't pay even as much as I paid them? That is when we use our declination form. That is when we ask our client to sign a form that they do not want an ACA plan, that they only want the package of protection. Because I don't want that client 3 months later to go, I thought I bought this. Because buyers can be liars when it turns that they've got to write a check. So this is just added protection. The other thing that we do is we get them to turn down other parts of the package of protection in the declination form. When you call those people back the next day and you say, hey, and my people had to do this. My boss wanted me to call you back, John, because 50% of the people that are men get diagnosed with cancer. She wanted me to make sure you're truly saying no to $1 a day. I promise you guys, if y'all do that, you'll sell a third of the people you didn't sell. It happens time in, time out, every time. Okay? Now, we're going to go back through this scenario. So now we've sold this client an ACA plus an affordable choice and the package of protection. So on this same claim, it works out the same here. Amount owed by the client doesn't owe this $9,100 if they just buy this. But if they buy both, they are going to owe the $9,100. And we reflect that over here. Okay, so hang with me. It's not algebra, it's just arithmetic. I know you guys got this. So the total claim is $22,913. The total paid to the client on the affordable choice plan was $30,000. The total paid on the out-of-pocket was $7,050. Stay put right there. Now over here, I'm going to drag this so I can show you this. So this right here is the affordable choice only. $3,345.12 for an annual payment. They can pay monthly, but I'm showing you the 12 months. The other products, all of them times 12 is $4,504.32. There's no deductible, no copay, or out of pocket with this particular plan design because it's cash. So the total paid in by this high net worth client is $7,849.44. Now we're going to pick up the ACA part. We're going to bring that over here, which includes that $9,100, right? So now the total paid out of pocket by your client for the whole shooting match is $31,444.24. They're getting $37,050. They gained $5,605.76. Now, some of you were saying, well, what happened to the $7,000, the almost $8,000? Well, you got to remember this little number right here. That affects your total, what you get to keep. But having this ACA plan is a true stop loss plan. Not like people are telling short-term medical. But the ACA truly is. So let's just take a minute before I go to a client getting full subsidy. Let's take a minute and determine that this client went in like my dad with stomach pains and came out with a cancer diagnosis, okay? Well, because you sold this client a cancer plan, they would have gotten an additional $30,000 in cancer right here. They also would have had a true stop loss plan over here if they were having to undergo certain types of chemotherapy, immunotherapy. So a lot of times you will see clients take it all, or they'll take bits and pieces. But in order to give you guys something to start with, this is an all-in description. But you can move in and move out in this spreadsheet. Now let's talk about the client that a lot of you saw this last year, where they got 100% subsidy on their ACA plan. The only thing that changes is that this person is not paying any premium for this bronze HSA. So if they had this same claim, they're only going to be out of pocket over here $9,100, which means that the claim comes down to $22,900. The client's got to pay the $9,100 to the hospital, and then the provider is paying the $13,813.23 to the hospital. This stays the same. They get the same amount of money. Over here, this is the same. That's the same. That's the same. The only difference is this, instead of being $23,000, is $9,100, which means the client is out of pocket for the whole shooting match, once again, $16,949.44. Total paid to the client, $37,050. The client gained $20,100.56. So this is your cheat sheet. This isn't necessarily the order we should sell plans in, but this is the way customers buy these plans. So if you're selling an ACA customer, this is the order we go in. If you're selling a Med Advantage client, this is the order we go in and the order they buy in, because this is where they have the most financial exposure. Med Sup client buys this way. They really should buy a cancer before DVH, but because they had dental at work and they're told they can't take their dental and their life with them, they don't think they can buy dental or life in the open market. Okay, so that's why you've got to start bringing that up. Only 12% of seniors have a dental, vision, and hearing plan because they don't know they can buy it as an individual. Okay, so that's a very important thing to have out in front of you when you're calling your clients. Now, Amanda and I will set up with the group of you that are interested in this. We will go through a role-playing training where I give you the script of how you call everybody back this year that you talk to. You can buy age data, you guys, under age 65 for like 1 cent a name with indemnification, protecting you on TCPA. Okay. So it is worth it. The other thing that it does getting your clients younger, guess what happens when your client T65? You're their agent. They're not just filling out information on any and every Manny, Mo, and Jack website. You are now protecting that T65 client from TV people, from mail, from website marketing. They become your client. And those of you that have seen the Aetna Cancer presentation, we sell equal amounts in the under age 65 of Aetna Cancer and Manhattan Cancer because clients realize they need all the cancer protection they can get. But don't forget, on the Aetna Cancer, youngest spouse goes first on the application because they get a discount for that. This is how you all are going to stay connected with me, and I've got some great news. First week of January, Queen of the Bundle will have her own website, and all of this stuff will be in one place. So that is going to make life a dream. Right now, it's out on Facebook and YouTube. Okay. Now it's y'all's turn to come off mute and ask some questions. But this is going to be provided to y'all. These are the testimonials. Amanda knows Scotty. He's a ton of fun. Both these people worked in my office. Both of these people had packages of protection, one on their spouse, one on their family, because it was cheaper than group coverage. We sell a lot of this in groups. We sell this a lot in teachers because the TRAs are too expensive. So that's it. I'll shut up. Amanda, awesome. You take over.
I have a bunch of questions, so we're going to rapid fire. Do you have a grid that shows where the products are available in each state?
Yes, it's on everybody's portal with Manhattan Life.
Okay.
So Amanda, what I would direct you to is to Scotty. He may have an easier tool. So that's the answer to that one.
Okay. So the plans, if you sold them pre-65 and they turned 65, did the plans continue after they're Medicare eligible on all of these?
So let's look at that. That's a brilliant question. So we're going to go right here. Affordable choice ends at 65. Okay, because now they got a new health insurance plan. Out-of-pocket protection goes to age 80, I believe. Lump sum cancer, guaranteed renewable for life. All of this is on the brochure. Lump sum heart attack and stroke, guaranteed renewable for life. 24-hour accident plan expires at age 80, I believe. Home health care, guaranteed renewable for life. OmniFlex, guaranteed renewable for life. Dental, vision, and hearing, guaranteed renewable for life. Final expense, guaranteed renewable for life. And I've been thinking about this every time I do this presentation. I'm going to add that on here, what their renewability is. So that's another great question.
Can they get a copy of the declination form that you use?
Yes, I will send that to you when we get off the call. And
Okay.
you can create that for Medicare Answers Now. You can create that for however you want. It is not protected. And you can change it up to other things you do.
Awesome. Next question. I'm a little confused. So you can write this AFC plan versus an ACA plan?
So affordable choice. Okay. So affordable choice is what we call in the under age 65 industry, an Obamacare alternative. So if they've got an ACA plan, they can have affordable choice. A lot of the small business owners, farmers, and ranchers don't want ACA because the networks are so skinny. So they just say, I'll take my risk. When they do that and they sign that declination form, I increase their cancer coverage and their heart attack and stroke coverage. And I tell them, if you get diagnosed with cancer or a really bad heart condition, we're going to enroll you in an ACA plan with the money that we get on your cancer plan or your heart attack and stroke plan, because that'll pay the premium for you. Because that way, if God forbid, they've got to have something that's out of the ordinary done, they've got a stop loss for it.
Are there examples with MAPD clients? I have to hear this again. I'm having trouble making the shift.
So MAPD, this is not the same example. So you cannot sell affordable choice with MedAdvantage. You can sell a senior hospital indemnity with MedAdvantage, and those are guaranteed renewable for life. But they don't pay the extreme benefit amounts that this affordable choice does.
Do the premiums increase year over year with these policies?
No. So one of the things that you've got to remember, the only one that's going to be really prone to any kind of substantial rate increase in any insurance company is going to be dental, because of price gouging done by dentists. I know if some of you've got children as dentists or brothers, I'm sorry. I love my dentist too, but it's known in the medical industry. They are price gougers. And when they hear your benefit amount, they use it. So we've got to make sure that we always tell our dentist, I'm going to pay cash, and it works out better for you that way. Okay. So I wanted to make sure everybody knows that. But lump sum plans they're just never going to have rate increases, because you're going to get the same amount of cash that you bought the time you bought it. So those aren't prone to inflation. Same way with 24-hour accidents, same with home health care, OmniFlex, final expense, premiums never increase, benefits never decrease. Affordable choice, like I told you guys, hadn't had a rate increase in 8 years. Did it this year for $2. Typically on that plan, if we rate increase anybody, it's people coming into the plan, not people that have had the plan. We did a rate increase right after we did the program in 2012, and it was rate increase too much, honestly. That's why we didn't have to have a rate increase.
What about family coverage?
There are family rates, and they get discounts for having family rates. If they're a husband and a wife, sometimes you're going to find out it's better to write 2 separate policies, but that's just you when you go into your portal, whatever works in their age breaks.
So we've got this question a couple of times. So you write this and not an ACA plan then?
No, you can write it as a supplement to ACA like we did here. Sometimes clients will say they don't want an ACA because they're not getting a subsidy. So they don't want to pay this large premium. But these clients over here that get 100% subsidy, I'm always like, why would you not write that? You make a commission on it, and your client has a true stop loss. So you've got to look at it over here when a client gets no subsidy, that this is like a supplement to their, kind of look at it as a Medicare supplement to their Medicare. You would look at this as an ACA supplement type thing. But you will have clients, it happens every single day, multiple times, where clients will see this and they'll go, well, why am I paying $14,494 only to get $13,000 of coverage? And the answer from the agent is, your claim could be larger than $41,000. But in this scenario, it worked out that way. I'm going to advise you to take both. It's your money. But if you're going to tell me no to the ACA, I'm going to have you sign a declination form. And I did that to protect my agents and me against lawsuits.
How do they get contracted with Manhattan Life?
Okay, so you already have the contract.
Mm-hmm.
You need to call Scotty. Scotty will tell you how it is. It's one of the simplest companies that we work with to get contracted. They will send you a link, Amanda, that you will email your agent,
mm-hmm.
and your agent clicks on the link and gets contracted.
Awesome. And then can we use this for ourselves? If we need health insurance.
So 2 things I will tell you. Don't use the entire presentation. Use slides. So like if you're trying to convince your client to buy this, show this slide. On this right here, when you're doing their premiums, you can use this and show them exactly what they're getting and what they're paying in this claims example. But you have to show it like I've showed you, that there's a claim being done, because not everybody's going to have a claim. And some client will go, well, you know, I don't want to pay 31 grand and get nothing. So that's when a lot of them will say, let me sign your declination form. I want to go over here and pay this cheaper price because I can go get that ACA anytime, right? Yes, you can, but only during open enrollment, or if you have a special enrollment period. Not everybody gets a special enrollment period. And you can add that to your declination forms to protect yourself even more.
Okay. Any other questions that we have? So if somebody has 100% subsidy, most of them can't afford $600 a month. How do you handle that?
So go back and remember the days when people had to pay for their health insurance. Some of you may be younger than that, or you haven't had your license that long. But I always ask clients when they turn 65, what is your health insurance budget? Because you're either going to pay now or you're going to pay as you use it. Which method works best for you? So this client that's on this 100% subsidy, I look at them and go, look, you're not paying anything here. But one of the things my grandson's pediatrician told me about this number right here, the worst thing than people having no insurance is free insurance, because they don't understand copays, they don't understand out-of-pockets, and most of them don't have a bucket to you-know-what in. So these plans that you're selling them over here help pay this so they get free health insurance. Because even though everybody thinks that they can pay off a hospital, that's true. But you cannot always pay off a provider or make a payment arrangement with a chemotherapy oncologist. So you need something that you're spending $1 a day for to help you pay for this. If God forbid you're one of 2 men or one of 3 women that get diagnosed with cancer. And a while ago, I said it was 1 out of 10 children. It's 1 out of 20 children that are diagnosed with leukemia that are premature. I didn't get to give my full stat because I was rattled, but I want to clarify that statistic.
So is the affordable choice guaranteed issue?
No, the underwriting, that is a great question. The underwriting is liberal. There are 12-month pre-existing condition periods on the plan to keep the plans reasonable in price. So what that basically means is, let's say that you have high blood pressure and you got approved for the plan, okay? But 8 months in, you have a heart attack due to uncontrolled high blood pressure. That heart attack would not be paid for because you, in fact, did not have controlled high blood pressure. If you had a heart attack for some other reason, it would be paid for, but if it related to a pre-existing condition, it would not in the first 12 months. Month 13, it's a free-for-all.
How is the best way to sell the Aetna Cancer to a primarily P&C book of business?
Okay, say that last part again.
What is the best way to sell Aetna Cancer to a primarily home and auto book of business?
Okay, so P&C.
Yep.
So I love that question because it is such a smart question, number one. So you've got to remember several things about the cancer policy. And the first thing I'll go to is a fireman. More firemen die of cancer than they do fire-related injuries. And it's because of all of the poisons that they're exposed to. So think about anybody you know that's male. They have a 50% chance of being diagnosed with cancer. 87% over age 50. If you go to your P&C book of business and you just sorted it by male only, the 1 out of 2 men is the easiest way to sell that book of business. Same way with women. Statistics don't lie. People don't want to admit that cancer kills, but cancer caught early, you live. But it's expensive. You know, one time I had an agent, a smart aleck, say, I bet you hope they never come up with a cure for cancer because they didn't know my story. And I go, let me tell you one thing, but before I ask you that or tell you that, why would you say that? And he goes, because you make all this money on cancer plans. And I'm like, you do realize, number one, that my dad died of cancer and I'd do anything to have him back. But number two, the cure for cancer is going to be expensive. And he was like a deer in headlights. You know, we've got to remember that cancer is the one thing that everybody we run across is terrified of. I was in the American Heart Association, and there were hardly anybody scared of getting a heart-related condition or a stroke, even though it's the killer of females, right? But everybody's scared of cancer. And people are buying homeowners and auto insurance in the what-if situation, 0.04, 0.06% of the time. Those guys bundle sell better than anybody I know, and a lot of times the discount's no more than 5%. The likelihood of them filing on a claim is not near as much as what your client in that same book of P&C that's going to file on their cancer plan, which is 40% of the time. I mean, to me, that's the easiest way to sell it, is the reality of it. So that's my answer.
Last one. Is the Aetna policy separate from the Manhattan policy, or are they the same?
No, they're separate companies. So you have to go to the Aetna portal to write Aetna, the Manhattan portal to write Manhattan, but we sell equal of both. If we have a client that says they're not going to take an ACA plan, we double their cancer coverage and we put 75 with Aetna and 75 with Manhattan, or 50 with Manhattan most of the time.
Which, guys, the Aetna plan, Aetna has two different contracts. They have the Aetna MA PDP contract, and then they have Aetna Senior Supplemental. And right. Gaylan is referring to the Aetna Senior Supplemental. And if you do not have that one, you do need to get appointed separately for that, which I, of course, have those contracts if you need them.
Kelly asked a question. I want to answer it, Amanda, on what's the difference in long-term care and short-term recovery care.
Mm-hmm.
Long-term care people buy after they're either too sick or too old. Most of those people can still qualify for a short-term recovery care plan, but we have more and more clients that are getting both because they don't want to cancel long-term care down the road and not have something just in case. So that's the answer on that one. And then I'll also tell you another thing Aetna's done that's great. They've included on their new MA portal all the ancillary plans. However, Amanda's right. You still got to be contracted on the SSI side to sell those plans. So I didn't know if you guys knew that. The plan is available in Oklahoma. Minnesota, I believe it is. Scotty can get Amanda an answer on that. I think Amanda's got all the others. So Amanda, is there anything else you want from me?
No, I appreciate the time. We're actually at time. So I appreciate you coming on and doing this for everybody. We had about a little over 50 people that attended today. And yes. If you have any questions, feel free, or need the contract, reach out to my office, or reach out to me, and I'll be happy to go ahead and get you whatever contracts it is that you need. And then this has to upload yet, so I would say probably inside of an hour or so, this should be uploaded so that way you guys can watch it again and go from there. So
Amanda, I got some good news for you.
Sure.
So one of the things that we just finished up, we did a really good video on this, and we also did one on 30, 60, 90 that we've done with you guys before. And we are going to allow Amanda to embed those in her website if she would like. We're being very particular about who we let have those, but Amanda will be given the links. So
awesome. I appreciate
you guys
it.
will be able to
I will totally
have that
take that.
always.
Awesome. Well, thank you. Happy holidays to everybody. I hope they are safe and you're warm, and I'm sure we will all talk again. So thank you all. Thank you, Gaylan, and I will talk with all of you soon.
Merry Christmas, everyone.